Well guys, I'm at it again. Making concoction. Do you remember the last video I had pastry left over? Well, I had a wee brainwave today and I've just brought this out of the freezer and let it defrost, and I'm going to get it rolled out to fit a big tray of line there, and we're going to make another concoction. And I don't know what it is about it, but I love putting my own spin on different recipes. It gives me great satisfaction. So I'm trying to shape this into, I'm going to put it into this big tin. Went ahead and put a bit of greaseproof on it, just to make it easier to get it out. And I don't like cutting anything in the tin. And we want to make strawberry slices, I suppose you could call them. But we'll see how this works. And all the other recipes I've been making with the jelly crystals, etc., have all been fantastic. And I've made more of them since. So I want to roll this a bit and then I'll fire it into the tray and then push it out, because that tray's deep and I don't think I could get it manipulated around the corners. So I think it'd be a better idea just do it, roll it a bit and then fire it into the tin. And I reckon that's pretty long enough. And try and lift it as best I can and fire it in here. And then I'll just push it out the rest of the way. Just gonna press it out to get it into the corners as best I can. And I left a bit extra greaseproof here just to have a bit of a lever to lift this out, because I hate cutting in any of my my non-stick tins. So it's just to even this. Now I'm going to put strawberry jam over the base. If I can get it open. Okay, so let's see how much jam I can get onto this. This is just ordinary strawberry preserve. And I want a good wee bit of jam, but I'm not going to go right to the edge, because I'll probably just all spew out when it's cooking. So I'm going to leave about half an inch around the edge. And I just close this door. It's actually fun coming up with new stuff. Has anybody, have any of you tried your own recipes? And if so, have they been successful? Let me know, because I'm always keen to know what other people's ideas on different takes and stuff. And what's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't turn out right, I'm sure it'll still be edible. And it's the only way to learn. We all learn from trying new things, and you learn from your mistakes. And I learned something today, really. I was pressure canning stew, a big pot of stew, and I had went ahead and jarred it up. It's going great. Vented for 10 minutes, got the jiggler on, got the jiggler going, sat down and thought, I'll have a cup of tea here while this does this. And all of a sudden, there was just quietness. And either the trip blew or we had an outage of electric, and lost all the pressure. So I'm going to let the canner come down the pressure and take all the jars out, let them cool down, and it's back in the pot. Anyways, in here I've got 8 ounces of sugar and 8 ounces of margarine. I'm just going to let this go until it's light and fluffy. This is going to be the topping, cake topping. Let's give that a wee scrape down. So it's getting lifted around the sides. And before I put that on again, I'm going to preheat my oven to, I'm going to put it on at 170 degrees Celsius and it's fan. I want to keep the temperature down because there's pastry in that. I want to get the pastry cooked before the cake gets sort of burnt. So I'll let that heat. And that's nearly there. Okay, so got this at the Asian supermarket a good while back. It's strawberry essence, and I've only popped the lid there now, and it smells quite sweet and very strawberry. And I think maybe two teaspoons of that would be enough. I'm hoping to give it a nice strawberry tang. And it was only like 69p or something. And that's the only place I've ever seen it. So get that mixed in. And then there's of course smell coming of that. And there's 4 eggs in here and I've just broken them up. And I've got 8 ounces of self-raising flour. If you don't have self-raising flour, just use all-purpose flour and add 1 quite full teaspoon of baking powder per 100 grams. That'll make it into all-purpose, or self-raising, sorry. So just alternate the eggs and the flour. And this is a recipe I use all the time. It's a very good smell, that. Hopefully it'll taste as good as it smells. That's the last of the egg gone in. And last the flour. I'm trying not to put it everywhere. I get one of those days in the kitchen where everything just doesn't go right. I'm just going to scrape that down again and get all that flour down in there. It sure smells wonderful, that. So this would be typically your, just a plain yellow cake mix with strawberry essence added. And I'm not going to put vanilla in because I want the strawberry to shine. but I think I'm going to put a wee bit of food colouring in just to give it a tinge of strawberry, and I'm going to put a good squirt of that in to turn it red. And it's just Dr. Oetker. This is the wee food colouring. I usually use that mostly at Christmas when I'm colouring cookies and stuff. That looks good. I don't want to overmix. You don't want to overmix your cake batters. And just get this scraped down. Oh, pressure canning takes a lot of time, and I got up this morning early thinking I'll get this done and get it on the shelf, and then that happened, but that's life. Take a rough this smooth, huh? So I'm not actually sure whether I'm going to pressure can that or the last power outage. I sent my gas burner round the roads of the farm to Mum's because they didn't have any means to make tea, and I had all their wee camp stoves and that here, so I like pressure canning on it just simply for that reason. If the electric goes off, you're not stuck. So just mix that through, and looks like that. It doesn't really look pink on the camera, but I can assure you it is pink. Can you see it? Nice pink colour. And it sure does smell like strawberry. And this might work, and it might be a flop, but I know all the ingredients is in it, and my ones will eat it anyway. Even if it was deconstructed, they'd still eat it. So we'll get this under our pastry, and I'm actually going to scoop that out with a cup just to get it evened over. Look how strawberry that is, guys. All scraped out on a waste, Anna. And just pull it along. Even it out on your tray. And the weight of that is pushing some of the jam, but it'll not matter. It will need to be extra flavour and stickiness. Let's make sure it's level. I don't want a big hump in the middle. And that looks pretty good. Okay. That's what it looks like. And of course, take my little holders off. And this is going straight in the oven. Wish me luck. I've got it on the middle shelf as well, so it's not directly on the up against the top. And I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes, and then I might need to turn the temperature down. Actually, I'll set it for 25 minutes. And I wouldn't be opening the door until I could see that the top's set. You would be able to see, you would know by looking at it whether it's still like wet on top. And I wouldn't open the door to turn the tray around until I make sure it's firm. Alright, I'll get the dishes done here and give this time to bake, and see you in a while. Okay, so at the 25 mark, I rotated the tray and put timer on for another 15 minutes because I want the pastry in the bottom to be cooked. And I think it's done. It certainly smells good, and it's firm to the touch. And looks like that. It's nice and firm in the middle, and we'll let this sit and cool, and once it's cooled we'll get it out of the tin, cut it up, and we'll give it a taste test. See you soon. Okay, so this is still a wee bit warm, but I managed to get it out of the tin, and it's quite easy with these two long bits, so do yourself a favour, and when you're lining your tins, leave a bit on each side. Gives you scope to move it about. And I must say, it absolutely smells gorgeous. They're like, when can we eat this? So we'll get it cut up and see what it's like inside. I can tell my eyesight's off a bit with cataract in my left eye, which needs surgery. But okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So that's going to make us 20 bits. And I'm going to pop one out just to see what they look like. Gorgeous. Pastry, jam, and topping. Just like that. Pastry, and then a layer of jam, and then the topping. I'm going to give one a try. And it does look like strawberry. Not nice. So, let's have a go at this. Yeah. So you're getting a crispness, sorry. Speaking with my mouth, so nice. So you're getting the bite of the pastry, like the crunch, and then you can taste the jam, and that strawberry essence in that cake is proper strawberry taste, and it's lovely. I had be raging that I went ahead and tasted this with him, but just hungry. One of those days. So that's been another successful invention or creation. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop eating that. We're not eating my dinner. Alright guys, pretty simple recipe for you there. And you get 20 buns out of that recipe. And they're good size. So nice. And you can go ahead and put like a white drizzle icing on the top if you wanted, but they're pretty sweet. They're sweet enough for us, so. Alright. I'm gonna go get my dinner now, and I'll probably eat that and have another one of those. Anyways, you all have a good day and night, evening, whatever, morning, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.